So it's always so weird to me to find new hobbies that were outside of things like video games and tabletop games. Sure, they were in the end almost always the same, but they could all be played differently. They always found a way to grasp my attention, which is always important to me. Yet when I try to pick up other hobbies like learning the guitar or maybe even biking, sure, I'm genuinely interested in them even to this day, but they always felt sort of hollow to me for some reason. They were interesting yet boring at the same time. I love learning a new note for the guitar, but never wanted to apply learning that note to actually learn a song. But I also loved all the cool things you can do with a bike, tricks, how you can upgrade it, and all that stuff. Yet never really used the ones that I got when I was younger. All these hobbies ended up the same for me. An interesting piece of hollow material. I realized the reason things like tabletop games, card games, and video games did not had this effect on me was because they were always different. Sure, I can play the same tabletop game 3 times in a row. However, each of those games would completely unfold in a new way. This also happened with things like card games. I can play the same deck and opponents, yet each game played out differently, all because of the cards we ended up drawing. Video games was where I was able to gather my information on the world of stories. I hate reading books because they bore me, and while I'm alright with watching movies and can learn from documentaries, I've always been a hands on type of person, so video games gave me that ability. It gave me the ability to directly impact the story with my actions. The same can be said about my academics as well. In my younger years, I was an A plus student, all the way up to around, I want to say, junior high. I got nothing but A's, but now looking back at it, it was because I just did what I was told. Turn in the assignment, add these up, write about this, write about that. It was never interesting to me. I just repeated what the teachers wanted to see. This happened all the way up to the third year of college. Sure, some things I gave more effort in compared to others, so my grades ranged anywhere from a C to an A. I passed my classes and graduated with a 3.2 in the high school, which got me on the honor roll system. This continued until about my last year of college. I was an engineering student. However, I knew if I stayed much longer, I just would not be alive for much longer either. So I changed to just studies at first. It was just a change of some interest. I thought working in some sort of law area would be cool outside of just being a lawyer. Though in my last year of my undergrad, I sort of realized what I wanted to do. I remember my first real dream I had when I was younger. It wasn't being an engineer or learning how to build some cool robot. It was about being a professor. Now, a professor, I never knew of what. I never had something that made me go, I want to teach this my whole life. Though my final year of undergrad, it hit me when I was working closely with a professor called Professor Broberg. I wanted to do work with mental health. I was diagnosed with depression around my junior year of college. However, deep down, I knew I had it since freshman year of high school. This is why everything felt so hollow and why short bursts of entertainment that were constant were always interesting to me. This is why I love video games as much as I do now. I wanted to be a professor about mental health. Finally, I found an answer I was genuinely happy in and interested in. So I entered the master's program to get my feet wet to see what I can do. This is where I realized I want to do work around mental health and self-concept. How things that resolve around mental health and everything that connects it to it and how it can massively change how we see ourselves. So that's where I am today, working on this master's thesis paper that I wish to expand about in my PhD and be a professor that focuses on mental health.